Hey, what's up, GameLeapers? This is Iggs, and in today's video, 13.7, the changes, the champion buffs, the champion nerfs, the adjustments, system buffs, system nerfs, system adjustments. We're going to get into, guys, the champions who are going to be changed in the next patch. So yeah, these champions you might play, these champions you might play against, these champions you might see a lot. So this is going to be a must-watch video, and that's all we're doing here. We are just listing the champions getting changed, and we might even predict what these changes might be. But yeah, if you do actually want to improve, guys, like this video isn't going to do anything for you, yeah? You're still going to win 5 of your next 10 games and lose 5 of your next 10 games. If you actually do want to win like close to 10 of your next 10 games, get signed up to the GameLeap website. Our challenger players and coaches are uploading daily videos to our website to help you improve. We have been there and done it, and we are imparting our wisdom and knowledge to help you guys out as much as possible. Join thousands of your fellow summoners and get signed up for exclusive access to our library of content. And yeah, let's get into the 13.7 changes, and let's start by talking about the champion buffs. Now we have 3 mid laners here, guys, getting buffed in 13.7. The first of these is one of the most popular champions in the game, this being Yasuo. Now, for whatever reason, right, I think it's good to buff Yasuo. Now, for me personally, like, I don't think this is really like that good unless there's some sort of skin coming out for him, because in higher levels of play, this champion actually does pretty well. Like, if you can pick him with the right team composition, and remember, at the moment, there's lots of engage going around, so stuff like Nautilus, that synergizes really nicely with Yasuo. You have Gragas in the jungle, right, and you have tank top laners, right? Malphite back on the scene is really good with Yasuo. So I don't really know why Riot have done this, probably to make a bit more bank, but yeah, Yasuo's on here, and hopefully the change isn't going to be like too big, because it will probably just break the game. Now, another mid laner who has picked and banned a fair bit in the mid lane, this is Katarina. Now, Katarina in 13.6, I'm surprised they're buffing her now, but in 13.6, she received a couple of skins, right? So this is a bit of a latent buff from Riot, and I'm guessing they're doing this again just to make bank. But yeah, Katarina getting buffed, I mean, maybe it makes sense because Nash's 2 from last patch, it was nerfed for Katarina because ability haste, like, who cares about this? And it's an extra 200 gold, so you're waiting on that power spike a little bit longer. And yeah, it's really important because your early game really isn't that strong. Like, once you get Nash's, you can actually start doing stuff. I mean, you do have other builds with like Sundra, and there might be like some sort of Rocket Bell, you know, full AP build, probably even a tank build out there. This one is a bit more justified, I think, than the Yasuo one, any Katarina mains. Let me know in the comment section what you hope the buff to be. Now, the final mid laner guy's getting buffed in 13.7, and shout out to all you Azir mains. And I think I've like talked about Azir in every patch since the start of the season because he's been so prominent in pro play, and now he's just become like the least prominent champion on the Rift, even in solo queue, right? He's one of the worst champs in the game. The Nash's Tooth nerf as well, the change, I guess, but it was a nerf to Azir because ability haste, yeah, you're just waiting on the item for longer, and you need your late game to be accelerated. So because it's taking longer, 13.6 is and was not a fun patch for the Emperor of Shurima. So this champion buff, what it will be, hopefully they revert like the mana nerf, so you actually have some mana in the early game, and that's really the thing for Azir. Before all the nerfs Riot gave him, he was actually like a good laner, and he needed that to be able to get to the mid to late game. And guess what? In solo queue, he still had like a 45% win rate despite winning most lanes. So yeah, champion buffs, I think, Azir, this is definitely one of the most warranted buffs on the list. Now, moving down to the bot lane here, we have a couple of champions. One of these is an AD carry, this being Kalista. And Kalista, like Katarina, got a skin last patch, so it's a little bit weird Riot buffing her a patch later. Wouldn't they do it in the same patch? But hey, it's Rito. So yeah, Kalista is getting buffed. She has fallen off a fair bit. If we think about the other AD carries really benefiting from Navori Quick Blades and Infinity Edge, Kalista doesn't feel that spike nearly as much. And because the meta is, yeah, really about engaged at the moment in the bot lane, well, she's not really popping off as much as she perhaps should be, especially compared to other AD carries. So yeah, I think this one is also justified. Kalista would love to play with those meta supports right now, so looking forward to seeing what this one is going to be. Now, the only support here getting buffed, and this is one who would pair really nicely with Kalista, this is Alistar. And Alistar is getting buffed. I mean, I'm not honestly sure why. I think the champion is like kind of fine. Like, you pick him into certain things, right? Like, if you see a Sivir locked in, you just pick Alistar. If you see something like a Blitzcrank, maybe you can pick Alistar. If you see a Samira on the enemy team, you pick Alistar, right? There are certain situations where this champion really thrives, and I don't really think he's like innately weak. It's just, yeah, if you blind pick him, you're probably going to have a hard matchup, but I don't really know how much he needed these buffs. I think there are other champions, guys, in the game who would actually want some buffs. Maybe something like, I don't know what, Volibear Top could do with some buffs, but yeah, Alistar is here. Now, moving into the jungle, guys, the last champion getting buffed in 13.7 is Graves. Now, Graves is still performing well in high relos, kind of like the Yasuo effect here. Yes, in lower levels of play, Graves might not be like the best champion in the world, but he's still good, like especially into attack damage junglers. So if you see guys on the enemy team, a Vi or Wukong locked in, picking Graves really does well because of your grit, your passive, right, the armor stacking you get, and because you're a range kiting champion, you do well into lots of melee junglers. Kind of like a budget Kindred, I guess, in a way. Now moving down to champion nerfs, Rammus is getting nerfed. And for Ram, despite copying recent nerfs, you're getting nerfed again. I don't know if Riot like watched that top 20 champions video I did across every single rank. Rammus was on there despite getting nerfed, right? He's got like a 53% win rate, but that's in every single rank taken into account, right? Which probably means most of that is going to be around silver reload. And yeah, Rammus is still kind of dominating it. In high reloads, he's really actually dropped off. So Riot have to be a little bit careful here. If you are a Rammus player in higher levels, maybe, I don't know, Platinum Plus, Diamond Plus, you're really not going to like this, but he is the first champion getting nerfed. Now, next up, we have a mid laner or bot lane AP carry, this being Veigar, who was also on that countdown. Like, playing bot lane Veigar is the most obnoxious thing in the game at the moment. I don't care what anyone says. It just is, man. Like, this guy, I don't know if he should be able to play bot lane, but he is able to, and he's getting nerfed again. I honestly, like, think Riot are going to nerf his armor even more, because they nerfed his base armor by, like, 3, right, and 13.6. Bro, they're going to put this to 0, like, straight up. But I still don't really think it matters that much. Maybe they're going to, like, semi-revert the range on your Q and W, which would really affect you. So maybe they'll semi-revert that, and I think it's actually the change to make. Maybe they give you back the base stats, so HP and armor they nerfed from last patch. But yeah, Veigar mains, let me know in the comment section what you think these are going to be. Now, Olaf is also getting nerfed, pretty much just based off stats, guys. So in the top lane, Olaf is an S+ tier champion in every single rank, around a 52-53% win rate. So not really surprising here. Olaf is a very dangerous champion. Now, we've got 4 champions here, guys, who are probably getting nerfed just based off pro play, and these are all junglers. So we have Sejuani, Vi, Wukong, and Lee Sin. Now, I want you to click on any pro game, right? Like, just type in on YouTube, I don't know, like League of Legends pro game, type in G2 versus someone, type in LCK, LPL. Try to find a game where these champions are just not on your screen. They are always there at the moment. Sej, Vi, Wukong, Lee Sin, they are the 4 best junglers, honestly, just in pro play. You are always going to see these picked or banned. And yeah, these getting nerfed, I actually do think this is good from Rito. Sejuani, they might have to be a little bit careful with because in solo queue, she's not as good as Vi, Wukong, Lee Sin, right? So I'm expecting those nerfs to be a little bit tentative, but these 4 champions getting nerfed. Well done to the balance team for hopefully making jungle, well, hopefully it's going to bring in a bit more variety. Now, moving down to the bot lane here, the only AD carry getting nerfed is Zeri, and I've gone on recently about how broken this champion is, and finally, guys, she is getting nerfed. And I know what you're saying. How can you say finally? How can you want a champion to be worse off? Well, it's just the fact that she's space gliding way too much, bro. That's it. I'm not asking her to be like completely gutted like I want Yuumi to be. I just want this champion to be a little less oppressive, especially in the meta at the moment with like Runan's Hurricane champions being close range. You just shred everyone. It's really difficult to play against, so hopefully they tune her down just a little bit so she is still Zeri, but just less OP. So she is the penultimate champion getting nerfed, and the final champion getting nerfed, guys, is Annie. So whether it's Annie in the mid lane or support, Riot haven't actually clarified this. I'm guessing it's going to be Annie support because I don't really think she's meant to be played as a support. So maybe they're going to nerf like her E or something because that's what you max when you play Annie support. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see again until tomorrow's video for what the changes will actually be. Now, there are 2 champions, guys, getting adjusted in 13.7. One of these is Kha'Zix. Now, as far as adjustments go, Riot normally like give you a few buffs and a few nerfs. So for Kha'Zix at the moment, yeah, you might not be the strongest champion, especially because, you know, the 4 junglers we talked about, Sejuani, Vi, Wukong, Lee Sin, very difficult as Kha'Zix to go near any of these champions. You are a weak early game champion because most games are going to be decided in the early game. It's difficult to get going. So these adjustments I'm kind of excited for. Now, we also have Thresh here, the final champion, guys, getting changed in 13.7. And for Thresh, yeah, you're kind of popping off right now. Like in every single elo, this champion is meant to have a high skill ceiling. He's way too easy to make work right now. So these adjustments, hopefully, they will actually bring a bit more skill expression in this champion rather than just maxing your Q and pretty much throwing Qs out off cooldown. Now, system buffs. Depth Stance is getting a buff. Now, Depth Stance, they actually, well, they took out the ability haste from it and they gave it more AD and more armor. This is getting buffed again. So for Bruiser champions, this is going to be awesome. So all you top laners out there, you guys should be rejoicing. Now, system nerfs, Rod of Ages, and I completely agree with this because Roa giving you, I don't know like how much HP, but whenever I look at an Anivia or a Ryze or a champion with Roa, they look unkillable, bro. It's not fun to play against. Why is a mage allowed to have like 10k HP? Rod of Ages is getting nerfed. Now, the last thing here, guys, getting changed for 13.7 is Cosmic Drive adjustments. Now, what are they going to do to the item? I don't know. It's the balance team. No one can predict, mate, what they're going to do. Maybe they're going to buff it so the Vladimir main on the balance team finally gets out of gold. I'm not sure. But yeah, that is the final change here, guys, on the 13.7 listed changes. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you did enjoy it, leave a like down below. And if you have any thoughts on what these changes might be, if your champion is getting buffed or nerfed, or any of the items you use, let us know in the comment section. And until tomorrow's video, where we will update you on what the changes actually are, this has been EZCHALLENGER. Peace.